And on this live, come on, I did. Stay. Are we live yet?
Yes, we are live.
You sure we live?
Stop. Oh my god.
Where's you from?
Oh my goodness. Mm.
Hey, people. Just another Wednesday. We doing what we do. I don't know, something wrong with our eyes over there, y'all. What's going on, Q? It's just another Wednesday. We doing what she do. She over here acting crazy as usual.
Okay, get it together. Oh,
Hey, thank you for the share. Thank you for the share.
yeah. Always, all the time.
She stayed with the foolery, Q. She stayed with the foolery. What's wrong with your eyeball?
I don't know. Look, hey y'all. Hey y'all. Whew, it's Wednesday. And here we are once again with the foolishness before we even get started. Here we are. Welcome to another episode of Real Talk with K and J. I am K, aka Kat.
I am Jay, aka the dog, and we are back. So this week's topic. So we've talked about taking care of ourselves. We talked about expectations. We talked about everything in preparation. Now we're moving into the relationship, and this is a play on words. Duo and do-over. So entering a relationship, if you're not entering a relationship with the understanding that you two should be a duo, as in working together, as in having those conversations, those talks, as in doing the things to enhance or to move forward in your relationship. If you're not in the duo mode, then more than likely you're going to end up in the do-over mode, meaning that you're going to do the same stuff that you've been doing over and over again. Most relationships are not one-sided. Those that are successful tend to work as a partnership or a union or whatever the word is that people want to use. But before we talk about the do-over, we want to talk about the duo, as in accepting the fact that that other person is bringing something to the table. That other person is just as interested in some things that you're interested in. That other person is also bringing some experiences that you might not have. What's going on, Cliff? And Tasha.
And Tasha.
And Tasha. And how we continue to move forward. It is called a relationship, as in ship, meaning two people, as in sailing, as in embarking on a journey. If you are a single-minded person and the journey is all about you and your needs and your wants, then you will not be in a duo, you will be in a do-over. Do-over. You will do over. You will continue to do over until that is something that you can respect, understand, kind of process and go through. So in the duo stage, this is where we start to learn about each other. This is where we start to check off the boxes. This is where we start to also, and when we say check off the boxes, we never mean not notice red flags, right? Because you don't see red flags unless you have communication and process. So in this duo stage of understanding that Trina has things to bring to the table, just like I have things to bring to the table. Yes, she wants her needs met. Does not mean that that person is not going to meet them. But on the opposite end of the ruler, the person that's in a relationship with you is going to have some things that they want to get met, and their needs or their ideals or whatever that is. You know, could be fantasies. Who knows? They want to make sure that that person that they're with, the other half, the gentleman caller, the significant other, is actually there to provide that. So now we're talking about two people working toward one common goal.
See, the foolishness. Definitely in this duo, it's definitely two people always working for something common. Even though we have our own and separate ideas and, like I said, needs and wants and fantasies, there have to be some things that we are committed to working toward together. Do-overs, we've all had some do-overs. We've entered this into some things that we thought were gonna, materialize to be long term, and it ended up not panning out that way for whatever reason, because of you, or because of them, or because of whatever. So you get a do-over. But the thing is, at some point the do-over is a lesson. I always say, whatever you went through, the test, the trial, the fail, the whatever, there was something in that to be learned. And if you get what's in that to be learned, then the do-overs should become less and less. At some point in time, it's like, okay, how many times do I keep trying? How many times? It's like, how many times and how many times am I not stepping back to take a look at myself to see if I'm the reason that I continue doing this over and over? We always, y'all already know, for y'all that tune in every week, you always know my stance is always to make sure that if something goes wrong, or if something doesn't go the way that you think it should go, or it didn't, your plan didn't go through, always take a look at self, because we have a part in everything that happens in our life, every situation, every whatever, failures or successes. We play a part in that. So you have to take a step back. A duo is two. What half of that, or what part of that, I had something to do with, or maybe I didn't communicate the way, I needed to, or maybe I didn't express things. I was just let them have their way. Sometimes you can get with people, like my previous relationship, I didn't say a lot of things just to keep the peace. I didn't, express my feelings just to keep quiet. I didn't express, my needs and wants, because, it's just easier to not say anything. But that's not fair to you, to have to not be who you are, get the things that you need, and have have your input and say so in the relationship, just for the sake of the other person to be okay. It's like you sacrifice everything about you for the sake of them. It's like, that's not a relationship. If you have to do everything, tiptoe on eggshells, be quiet, put yourself on the back burner, always attempting to do everything that they want you to do, attempting to meet all of their needs, that's not a healthy relationship. That will definitely lead to a do-over, or you will definitely be unhappy, unsatisfied, unfulfilled, all of those things, or it will result in a do-over. So in a duo, just be comfortable knowing who you are, what you bring to the table, knowing that in that space, you have something to offer, you have something to say, and the other person respects that. And as a team, we're Team Baker. Ain't nothing we can't do. We're Team Baker regardless. And that's just the way we approach every situation, is that we're a team. We're in this thing together. It's not me against you. It's me and you against everything else. So if you in the duo, make sure that it's it's a me and you. It's a us. It's a we. And in that, then that's when you find the success. That's when you find your peace. That's when you find your happiness. That's when you find those things that are like, okay, yeah, this is the one. You know, we get asked the question all the time. We've had the conversation before, but we get asked the question all the time. How do you know that they're the one? When you can function as a duo, when you can operate as a team, when you can face things together and know that you're not facing each other, you're facing everything else. And then that's when you begin to have success in your relationship. That's when you begin to have, all the things that most people think relationships are. They're not all the glitz and the glamour. It's the things that you have to put in the work for. The glitz and the glamour is like the icing on the cake. But to get to the cake, you got to have some flour, some eggs, some sugar. You got to have all of that stuff. And that's all the work that you put into it, and you do that as a team. Like when we were younger, we watch wrestling. They had tag teams, it's like tag teams. They're like two is better than one. So in the duo, it's like make sure that it's the both of you, and everything includes the both of you. If everything is always about the other person, then that's leading you to a do-over.
You can be focused. You can be focused on your goals. You can be focused on your accomplishments. You can be focused on all of the things that are you. But at the same time, you can give credence and respect to what other people are doing. That's a must in a relationship. Two heads become one. It is. You can be focused on your career. You can be focused on growing your business. You can be focused on a lot of things, but understand in the duo, there has to be time made for that other person. There has to be time made for what their interests are, what they're looking for. And maybe in your journey, you find out that that person has some ability to help you in your journey, right? Because who knows? Remember, you're coming from two different ways, two different backgrounds. We never know how that works. You may have the brains, he may have the hustle. It all depends, though, if your mind is open and you're understanding that there has to be some give and take. That is what a duo is. That is that partnership. When you know that you have to give some give and take, it may not be as easy to do. It may not be what you want to do. You may not even understand what your mate's real mission is in the beginning. That's where those intentional conversations come from. And in the duo, sometimes the person that you're with, maybe their sole focus for a while is just to make you great. It's just to make sure that you're good with the avenue that you're traveling. I'm good with the avenue that I'm traveling. That's called support. That's not always called trying to take over your dream. That could be someone that's just supporting your dream and saying, hey, I know a couple of people, I know what we can do. And you listen and you strategize and you have those conversations. When you don't do that, then that's when the word selfish kind of comes into the picture. That's when you're only worried about yourself starts to be thrown out in the relationship. Men, will say that a woman is a gold digger in a minute. Things have to be always about you. And also in that, things don't always have to be your way. I think in this duo thing while we're talking, I don't want to lose the fact that things don't always have to be your way. Biggest analogy is three lefts make us a right. You just may want to turn right. It just may be the process and how a person mind thinks that they take a longer route to get to the end result. I work with a person that does that every day. That she just cannot get to from A to C in a straight line. She has to kind of go around about to get there. But once you learn it, then you understand that that is just the way she processes. That's the way she sees success. That's the way she sees her planning. So you allow her to do that. That could be the same in your relationship, right? Always the approach of knocking down the door to get in does not always work. Sometimes knocking down the door gets you in trouble. Sometimes knocking down the door will cost you some things in your life and in your business. Sometimes you may just need a softer, gentler approach. And that is an analogy for us too. I'm the one that wants to go through the door, right? Open the door, knock it down, take it off the hinges, go through it. It's okay, whatever it is. There's many of times she has had to tell me, no, let me try this first. Because there's a gentler way to deal with it. So in that, being a duo, you find out where your strengths and needs and weaknesses may be. And for all of us who decide I'm not weak, I don't have any weaknesses, that's not true. Some people will do some things better than you. That's just life. Yeah, I know we can go back to all men were created equal, but we know now that equality was just a representation of respect and ownership. What that did not take into account was the way people handle business, their intellectual abilities, their ability to love, their ability to make friends. That is not what all men created equal back then was talking about. So it is real important to know that there has to be some give and take. And tug of war is a game that we used to play when we was little. You notice how fun it was when you were pulling and pulling, but you were trying to get to the common goal. That's what we need to be looking at, is how can we work together? How can we move what we're trying to do in the same direction? Now, we'll talk about that movement of direction. I'm going to let Trina take a little bit, then we're going to talk about movement in a direction.
Mm-hmm. And this is one of those things, like I said, it has to be common. Mm-hmm. In a relationship, in a situationship, in a friendship, in whatever you call it, it has to be something common. There have to be commonality between the two of you and things that you both desire. There you have, like you said, you have your own goals, your own dreams, your own, things that you want in life. And when you're with someone, most of the time, you'll know you're with the right person because they will push you into those things. Sometimes we don't see things in ourselves that somebody else does. Like I said, I have hobbies, just things that I would just randomly do for me, for fun, for whatever. Like I said, a person is the brains, a person is the muscle, a person is, has the hustle, the whatever. I'm capable of doing all of these things, but I didn't see myself doing them in the same light that he did. It's like, why don't you do this? And to have in a duo somebody to inspire, somebody to be creative, somebody to want to see you in a different space than where you currently are. They are proud of you, support you, all of those things. Like our friend on here, Cliff, he was, his wife is a great designer. Cliff was like, she designed and I deliver. I'm the delivery guy. That's how it is with us. In my business, I make. He's the deliverer. This is my mailman. So, in a duo, there are things that you complement each other on. You take advantage of the strengths of your partner. Somebody's always going to be better at something. Somebody's always going to have, more passion about something. But your support of them in that something, it makes both of you better. That's something we get to do together. I get to put all of my packages together and, like, okay, baby, I need you to do this. I need you to take this over here. That creates bond. It gives us time, to spend together doing something that I love doing, and him being supportive of what I love doing. In a relationship, it's those kind of things that make the bond stronger. It it keeps the duo, on point. And it's those type of things that you look for. You sound like Jay.
Man.
You sound like Jay, Cliff. You get paid. You get paid. Trust you get paid.
I'm still looking for my residual.
but it's benefits to that, right? You get to, push her and support her and be there and like, okay, baby, I know you can do this. And you get to, go out and show people, things that your wife has done or whatever. In that, it's the support. For me, it's the support. And if that's him taking 2 packages to work with him or whatever, it's the support, and that creates a strength, that creates a bond, that things in it's like, okay, I know we can do anything together. It's like you start small. It's like that. I trust you with everything that I have. He's 100% behind me. It's like, okay, I trust you to go out and do this, to deliver all of this stuff for me while I'm working or while I'm doing whatever. So that creates, like I said, that's an extra love. That's an extra, so you get paid for it. You might not get a check with your name on it, but you get paid for it. So it's just the things that you do to strengthen your relationship. And in a duo, it's about strength. And like I said, one person will always be, yeah, I know Tasha. Hey Trey, Tasha, I know they get paid. He get paid too. It strengthens your relationship, and it creates, those bonds that keep you together and keep you in a good space. And you don't, just like a do-over. It's like, okay, my heart's been broken. I'm tired. I'm over all of that, having to start over. So you continue to do the things that strengthen that bond between the two of you. You do the things that continue to you just make it fun. Make your relationship fun. Create peace. Create, those just that environment of where you want to be home, or where you want to be together, or where you want, just the good things. And when the bad things come, you're strong enough to face them, because you've done, you put all this extra ingredients into your cake. You add a little extra butter. We love some good butter. So you added just, they say 1 stick, but you add a stick and a quarter, just a little extra. So in the duo definitely make sure it's inclusive. It has to be inclusive of your ideas, your thoughts, your feelings, your wants, your needs, and you get all of those things established in the conversations that you have.
I think it goes back to these words that everybody's using, like-minded individuals, people who have the same goals, people who want the same things. Those are well and good, but sometimes the execution of those things are much different.
Mm.
And that's where that duo comes from. Sometimes we want the same thing, but the execution thereof may be vastly different. And we have to come to some consensus around which route works for us, right? What is the best route? I am no designer. I let her design. It is, that's nothing that I can do. Now, can I sell it? Can I post it? Can I deliver? Yes, I can do all of that. But I'm not the designer for those items. That I don't have that kind of eye for that. I'm kind of the brain. I'm kind of the one that wants to make the money. How can we market said talent to create a residual income? So there's where our duos kind of clicked, right? I'm like, wait a minute, I just spent like $40 on supplies, and you're going to make the bracelets to put them back in the drawers? Women will do that stuff. Women will buy that. So we started making bracelets. And in that, she started her own business. And then there became a small clamoring for men. Men wanted to have bracelets. What did you have for men? So I started creating men's bracelets, and we had a men bracelets line that took off for a while. And again, these are just hobbies that we do. That then we do some, and then we get away from it. Then we'll start back up as the demand comes. Then we provide that, but that is a joint venture where we've talked about what we're doing, what is the goal, right, and how much is it. And that's when you're together. The words equally yoked kind of come to mind, right? When people are seeing the vision and they're moving down the street or the stream at the same time, trying to get to the promised land, whatever the promised land is. kind of like chasing the goal at the end of the rainbow. You're looking for something that is sustainable. You want it to be sustainable. You want it to be something that lasts. And going into a relationship and understanding the duo part of that helps tremendously to stabilize or galvanize. I think the word would be galvanize, right? Bringing you two together to accomplish the goals and to do things. And understand in the working and in the partnership of doing that, you're creating a much stronger and tighter bond in your relationship. So we're not always saying that you're just doing things to make money and work, but sometimes spending that time and having those conversations creates a bigger bond. This weekend, we heard a friend of ours say, we hang out, me and my husband, but it's always 8 or 9 people at the house because we always inviting people over. I'm tired of inviting people over. I just want me and you to hang out and leave the people where they are one time out the week. So that was the sign that the duo has some similar interests, but now one of the individuals wants a little more personal time. And the other person in the relationship has to acknowledge that and has to understand that I get it. We're always together, but it's not me time. It may be us time or we time because somebody's always over or we're always over somebody else's house. When do we take time to take care of ourselves? And a quick answer to that was date night. Date night is important. Date night kind of shuts everything down and lets you go back to you and your mate resetting and kind of getting back focused on it's still about the two of us in this relationship. And whatever you told her that you liked when you first met her and she told you, then that's what you repeat during date night to keep the fire going, right? No fire burns without a little maintenance.
You gotta add something.
You gotta add something to fire, right? You gotta keep it burning. So you gotta put a little kindling, you gotta put a little accelerant, right? That date night gives you time to dress up. Excuse me.
You have to add something to it, and he said, the converse. It is sometimes we are together majority of the time. Majority of the time we are together, but but there has to be a time when that time that we are together is intentionally focused on what we need. Yeah, but there has to be.
Yeah, yes.
There has to be a time where the time that we spend together is intentionally focused on our needs. Like I said, we have, really good friends that we spend a lot of time with. Like I said, we basically do everything together. But there has to, I'm quick to say, baby, it's time to reset. Let's hit the reset button. That means just me and you. We need to focus on just me and you. It's like just spending some quality time together. If that's, cuddling, watching a movie, but just some time where we can be alone, where we can have conversations alone, where we can just be quiet and enjoy each other's company. You have to continue to pour into that. Like you have to continue to put something on the fire in order for it to continue to burn. And it's super important to feed that. To keep feeding the fire, It allows you to, just stay connected with each other. It allows you to be in tune with what's going on with each other. There are people who are in relationships, people who are married, who are in the same house that don't even know what's going on with each other. Yeah, they live in the same house. Yeah, they sleep in the same bed. Yeah, they see each other every day, but there's no intentional time. There's no intentional conversation. There aren't intentional moments spent talking about what I need, what I'm feeling, how I'm feeling. You have to take that time. And in the conversation that that was had this weekend, that was their point. Yes, we're always together, but at the same time, I'm always sharing with everybody else that we're with, or who is around or whatever. So date night, that pack the bag for a quick weekend getaway. Just the two of you. We give so much to everybody else that oftentimes we neglect our mate. We neglect ourselves. And we neglect our mate because we give so much to the outside world. We give so much to work. We give so much to family. We give so much to friends that we always want to be around our friends, or we always want to, entertain and have company and all that kind of stuff. We give so much to those people that sometimes, even though they're with you, they're going to go to the party with you, they're going to go here with you, but there's something missing. There's a connection that can't be had between the two of us when we're in a room full of other people. There's a conversation that we don't have when we're around other people. So you have to be intentional about taking the time. Like I said, a weekend getaway. It's necessary. You don't have to go far. Just get away. Sometimes you have to get out of the house, change the environment, change the scene to reconnect. At some points, we lose connections. We do. It's just like anything. You lose that connection because you give so much to everything and everybody else that you have to take the time to reconnect. It's like, okay, babe, the bag is packed somewhere. Like I said, it doesn't have to be far. It doesn't have to be anything expensive or elaborate, but be intentional in that time that you take. Make time for the other person. It's always something to do that can cause a reconnection. It's like, oh, that was fun. When was the last time you had fun? When was the last time you went on a date with your partner or whatever, or you two went somewhere and you really, really enjoyed it and it was just the two of you? It didn't matter who else was around. Go somewhere where you don't know nobody. Complete strangers around, and you had a great time. Those are the things, like I said, that strengthen. And you have to strengthen a duo in order for it to remain. You have to put in some work, do some things that's going to add something to that. Add something to the fire to keep it burning. And those are the kind of things, like I said, reconnect. Sometimes you just don't talk, you don't have a conversation, like everybody's so busy. You can't be too busy for the other person in your life. You miss out, and then eventually that will fade out, and eventually they will be out, and eventually you'll be in a do-over.
So here's some stuff. I read a lot. Lord, no, I read a lot. But I ran across this stat that said 86% of homeowners spend more than 80% of time outside of their home.
Yep.
With work, with errands. If you got children, you got to get PTA, basketball, baseball, cheerleading, and track. So your day is already planned. Your week is planned. Okay. I read a lot of Greek mythology and books about ancients, and Cliff may have run across this book and read something similar to this. There's only 24 hours in a day, right? And those are divided into 3 sets of 8 hours, right? You have 8 hours for your usual vocation. That's work, right? You're supposed to have 8 hours for refreshment and sleep. And then you're supposed to have 8 hours to service of God and man. That 8 hours of service to God and man. The man part is what we're focusing on for this thing, is that you intentionally make sure that you're finding hours to take care of what you got going on. You got to take care of your household. You got to rekindle. You got to reset. You got to refire sometimes. Sometimes you got to bring the blaze back. You have to be intentional in taking care of the fire that's in your home or in your relationship, because we have plenty of other things to do. So in those 8 hours, Tasha has her own business. Trina has her own business. Ms. B has her own business. So in her 8 hours of rest and relaxation or usual vocation, she's working. And those hours are now being taken up. So you go from 8 hours to a 12-hour day, or from a 12-hour day to a 16-hour day. When do you stop for a minute and breathe and take care of you, and also take care of the relationship of the duo that you're in? You have to be intentional in doing that. because we can get so caught up in the grind. No, we can get so caught up in the business. Um, and I know if you are married and you're on the show, you have children, you may buck your eyes a little bit, but sometimes you get so caught up living the life that your children live that you forget that in order for the children to thrive and survive, the parents got to be okay. So there still has to be, pizza night. There still has to be those nights. So with kids, I know with my daughter, we had pizza night because she was a pizza person. Every week we had a pizza night. Then she started liking tacos, so we started having taco night. This was before LeBron and Taco Tuesday. But even in that, you still had to find time to be in that relationship. You still have to define what that means. And what we find out is if you don't be intentional, what happens is your days start to be longer. Right? So Miss B gonna say, woo chat. Because now she's working, she may be working 16-hour day. Tasha hate pizza with get her some oodles and noodles.
Hot dog chips.
Yeah, take her back. Thanks. Like and share. We do life all over here. Real life. Yes. There's real life. And you have children. And you're motivating them to do better. But at some point, you got to reset. Ladies, you say it could be for your personal reset. It could be getting your nails, your toes, your eyebrows, and all of that done. Your personal care. Men, it's barbershop, haircut, car wash, meeting up with somebody to smoke a cigar, whatever that looks like. That is your reset. But don't forget that you also have to maintain the duo that you're in. So if Tasha doesn't like pizza, we got to figure out what Tasha likes, because that may be what we have to interject into what we do. Maybe it's playing the game.
Guys,
guys playing the game. I don't even own one. I went through that phase, so I do know that at the point now where I don't own one. I don't think I got time to play too many football, basketball games right now. I am at a point where we're consistently thriving to get better, right? And in that thriving, we have to stop and say, it's time to reset. And resetting doesn't mean you got to do 5 days, 7 days, cruises and all that, although that's a great thing to do. But sometimes reset is just getting up Saturday morning and hitting the road and getting behind the wheel and figuring out where the car takes you. Right? And then you hang out at that place all day. And you figure out how long the drive was, and you leave just in time to get back home before dark. You have to figure out and infuse that relationship with something new. Infuse it with intentional, right? In the day of everything is infused.
Everything.
Vodka is infused. Tanqueray is infused. Water is infused. Infuse those things into your relationship, right? Because our jobs would be quick to make us routine. So you have a job and you have children. Both of those require routine. Where is it that you have time for you? And you got to look at that and you got to figure that out. EMC3. Yes, you got to figure it out. How do you work with this, right? How do you make this work for you, your mate? So hopefully what you've gathered is it's okay to spend time on the duo, because you've already spent plenty of time doing over. This is your third, fourth, fifth time trying it and you ain't got it right. Maybe you need to try a different approach, right? We've all prayed for it. You did. I pick on the ladies because I know the ladies do it because I hear them say it. I just pray to something, the Lord send me a man right now. I'm tired of being by myself. It gets to that point. And it also gets to the point, ladies, and men, where we're okay with being alone. You'd be like, you know what? Maybe I need to be single. But typically something happens, someone appears, some knight in shining armor, some bad lady walks into your path, and then you're all the way back over again. And well, maybe I'm gonna try this one more time. Well, try it with a different approach.
Yes.
Because that approach could be the difference between making it last like Keith Sweat or just having something where you do like the old folks say the blues, you just hit it and quit it. That is where we're talking about the difference. We're talking about the difference of good old Keith Sweat, or we're talking about the difference with good old what's Pokeball. So Pokeball ain't saying nothing. They talked about being around for a long. Because Pokeball left home
to be with his side piece.
Because Tasha didn't like no pizza.
We not
just playing.
He's not talking about that. What's that?
That time is like a pop-up shop. Can't plan it. Quick your meat at times.
Yes.
Take it where you can get it.
Yeah.
Till you can get the time you need.
Yeah. It can't. It doesn't have to be planned.
You will have to know how to leave work at work. When I leave work, I'm husband and father.
Absolutely,
all right.
And that's the thing. It doesn't have to be planned. Spontaneous is good now.
Ms. B, I think we're gonna go back to bring the quickie back. We're gonna talk about that.
Spontaneous is good. It doesn't have to be something that you have an agenda for, something that you have an itinerary for. It doesn't have to be that. If it's something that needs to be, if it's a vacation or, sometimes you need to make some plans. But even in your planned vacation.
Oh, way to go, Cliff. Way to go, Cliff.
Even in your planned vacations, leave room for unplanned things. Spontaneity. You might get to a new city and find out, there's always something in another city that, that can be fun and exciting. Leave room for those things. That's where the fun is. We planned this trip to go to LA, but we didn't necessarily do an hour by hour itinerary. We want to find some stuff that, we want to navigate. We want to explore. That's the fun part. The exploration is the fun part. It's like, okay, what can Google tell me where we need to go? Google is my friend.
She won't.
Cliff, behave. Google is my friend. Like, it's the spontaneity. That's fire. That keeps the fire burning. When there's something, he has an idea, a quick plan. Like yesterday, we were sitting in the recliners, was talking about, we planning to take a trip.
About everything?
No, I had to tell this. He was like, I want to go to Puerto Rico. It's like, you want to go to Puerto Rico? Because you don't never say exactly where you want to go. I'm the planner. If I say we want to go to the moon, he like, okay, pack the bags, let's go. But for you to just say that you want to go, I'm like, okay, come on, what we gonna do when we get there? Like, I'm super excited because it's something that he doesn't ordinarily do is say where he wants to go. I'm the one that's out, babe, what you think about us going here? Baby, let's go here at the end of August and let you know that's me. I'm the planner. But for you to just, I was like, wait, what you got going on, boy? Let's
go to Puerto Rico. Bob Barker was sending people to Puerto Rico for about 20 years.
What you got going on? Like, it's yes, that is adding flame to the fire. It's that, you add another little stick of wood, another little kindling on the fire, make the flame, we're gonna have a bonfire. We're just gonna go out in the middle of the field and just burn some wood. But that's the excitement of it. Those are the things that keep the duo. Those are the things that
keep you the duo from being a duo.
Absolutely.
Right.
Give me something that was unplanned.
Libra things. We're indecisive with that kind of stuff. Business deals. We're focused.
The fact, 100%. I can ask him anything about business. He got that covered. But all the other planning, all that's all me. All I can say, baby, the trip is planned for the end of August. And he like, okay, that's his answer. Okay.
Get to work, call him back and say, now what days I need to take off?
But for you to just say like you want to go, what you got going on?
You don't need no extra thing.
Okay, what you got going on over
I bought some mosquitoes. They coming in the mail.
here? What is those things that you have to do to just keep it fun and
Ain't they
exciting?
purple?
Of course they will be purple. Keep it, keep it light. Like I said, life can be heavy sometimes. We can deal.
Tasha and Libra too.
Lord,
Oh my God.
I feel your pain.
Yes, yes. Just tell us when to go and when to do that.
That's how we operate. Just tell me when and where, and I'm good. But it keeps the relationship light, and we have our moments. Everybody does. You're gonna go through things. Things are gonna come out of the blue. You're gonna face things, but we know how to handle those things, how to go head on to those things and get through them, get over them, get past them, and keep it moving on to the next reset. And sometimes when you don't reset, things continually. Oh Lord,
Yes,
Tasha.
yes, yes, yes.
Oh Lord, Tasha. So you think when you don't hit the reset, things continually pile on top of each other. That's why we always talk about people, when you don't deal with it, it doesn't just go away. It continues to come back. You will continue to face the same thing if you don't deal with it. So it did. Oh, Jesus.
Mm-hmm. Gang, gang.
So you deal with those things, you hit the reset button, and that may be like, okay, baby, we just need to get away for a moment. Like I say, it can be an overnight stay. It can be just a drive, to spend the whole day somewhere else or whatever. But be intentional about those things, and that's the time where you can have uninterrupted conversation. That's the time where you can just talk. And sometimes that's all you need to do. You just need to talk, and I need to hear you out, and you need to hear me out, and then we can keep it moving. We don't just sit on these things and let them become something bigger than what it actually started out as. So you have to.
I'm ready to reset now.
Me too, Tasha. Me too.
So let's give an example of something that we do. It don't cost no money. But boy, do we enjoy it. We'll go to a public place, a flea market. We'll go to the mall, and we'll just people watch.
That's funny.
Because when you're a duo, you have unwritten and unspoken communication that you don't have to say. Sometimes we walking down the mall, and I look at her, she'll be like, boy, ain't no way, boy. Ain't no way. Some of the fashion styles, some of the clothing, some of the walks, are just things to do. We didn't go for any intention but to just hang out, have a good time, and come back home. Right? Let me get the screwdriver. Sometimes this is what it is. I love people watching. People are very interesting.
Are they?
Right. So you have to come to a point to where you just do it. Best place is a mall, or even better, just go to a flea market. And sometimes you go to the flea market, sometimes you overhear conversations where people are trying to price haggle and get people to talk down. And the reasons why, and some of the stuff you hear, it's just funny. It provides a little relief. Walmart with them bonnets and them furry house shoes. Sometimes, and them toes that needed to have been done 2 years ago. I'm just, maybe talking about actual stuff or not.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that that's just something that doesn't cost you anything. Ms. B is probably shopping in Walmart for something, but the comedy that comes for free in these places, are amazing. Now we're not the ones that gonna turn on live and take pictures and look, y'all, look. That ain't what we do. But in the moment of taking care of our business, we kind of watch our surroundings and kind of wonder. I go for one thing and be in there 3 hours. There it is. Guys, this is real stuff that breaks the monotony of what your schedule is. While I'm at it, next week's topic is going to be bring the quickie back, the Niecy Harder edition. You might be here.
No, you going to do it without me?
We in the dog pound. Oh, that's right. Next week we into the dog pound. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right. It's fine.
So we're gonna talk about bring the quickie back. For all of you who don't know what the quickie is, you can Google it or remember what it used to be in your past because we'll talk about it. That was a topic that we did, a show we did a while back that had some amazing results. But as we get older, we forget about things that bring us joy. We forget about things that you do when you only got 5-10 minutes. And sometimes those 5 or 10 minutes make all the difference. Right? And we're going to talk about some of those ideals around I need somebody to love me all night long. I need somebody to stand up in it. All of that stuff. I'll be at work. Yeah, we're going to turn up. Let's get it.
You gonna turn up in the dog pound?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You gonna turn up in the dog pound? Okay.
So we gotta get to a point where we remember what those things were that brought us joy. Just because you did the quickies when you were a child, don't mean that those quickies have the same problem. Just put the tip in. You know, I already started.
The biggest lie ever.
So we're going to talk about BQB, which is the home. The Real Talk with K and J show is the home of the BQB.
The biggest lie ever.
I told you that one time.
Yeah. Biggest lie ever told. Like I said. Are you telling me? I know. I ain't worried about. I ain't worried about leaving him here with y'all. I'm good. I'm 100.
I'm gonna be on my best behavior.
All lies. Another lie told. But we're gonna shoot y'all. We're gonna leave y'all in the dog pound with him.
We're gonna go to the dog pound for a couple of weeks. But I think in the dog pound, the idea is just to talk about stuff that people really don't want to talk about.
It's cool. It should be talked about. It needs to be talked about.
And I think what we don't do is we don't hear things from hide the juice. we don't hear things. Thank you. I need to take a little sip. Appreciate it.
And it is those things, like you said, that we don't typically talk about, especially out in public. We can have a couple of friends around.
Or that you hear it from a man's point of view.
Yeah, that's cool.
Right? Because typically women will gather in groups and have conversations. Men, not so much.
Not the way we do.
And not to the extent. And also, I think it's interesting for women to hear the man's point of view on why he does things, or what he gets out of it, or what he feels when he does it. As opposed to thinking that we're always trying to do something that hurts you or impedes what you got planned for your day. Spontaneity is a wonderful thing when done correctly and done in moderation. That's why it's called spontaneity. Again, to her point, she can plan a trip hour by hour, but we know that that's not what we do. We'll plan locations to go to, but we always leave blocks to where that just leaves up to the imagination of the way we feel at that moment during that trip or vacation, to just kind of have what we have. Yes, women need to come hear from us. Yes, because they don't have the same understanding that we do when it comes to the things that we're going to talk about next week. Now, they have some valid points, and I can remember the first show we did on that. They talked about just the sheer energy and muscle that a man has, and sometimes we don't know our own strength. But we'll continue that topic next week. And this works across the board. So this is just not a man-woman topic. This is just a relationship topic, period. What do you do to spice it up? What do you do to make things different? As Nisa said, take the opportunity to do whatever the opportunity is. Because sometimes, you just don't have the ability to do everything all the time.
You're trying to say y'all to make
Sometimes we just need to take our time and enjoy the moment. And the moment could be 20 seconds. The moment could be an hour. The moment could be whatever the moment is. A moment is a moment. Pour milk on her. Hey. Wow. We talked about that too, Cliff. Take the refrigerator to the bedroom. That was another one that we're gonna bring back. And we'll wait. I'll wait. Yeah, take the kitchen to the bedroom. We'll wait on that one for when Trina comes back, and it's just not the dog pound. But I appreciate um, the fact that we're able to have these conversations, and that no one is all flabbergasted and taken aback by the fact that these are things that you talk about every day. Now, do you talk with them with your mate? Is the question, because that should be barbecue sauce and honey mustard to dip her in. Hey, that was what's the boy? This is how we do it, boy. The one used to sing that song. This is how we do it. That little slow song. He said he needed some honey for a toe. Montel Jordan. He didn't say he needed honey for a foot. He said he needed honey for a toe. Nobody put that whole foot in your mouth. But anyway, those are the type of things we talk about. You should, Cliff.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. They brothers. They brothers from another mother, but they brothers. We know Cliff, what, 25 years?
25 years at least. Yeah.
25 years.
I've known Cliff just that long. So we're going to wrap up with tonight's segments and recaps because they're always good and they're always great lessons. And they kind of wrap up a show. Things don't always have to be your way. Take a step back and take a look at self. Sometimes you can want the same things, but the execution of those things could be different. If you have to sacrifice everything about you in a relationship, then it's not a healthy relationship. Date night is important and allows the couple to reset. Amen.
Necessary.
In your duo, make sure there's a me in you, not me against you. Oh, that one might need to stay on the screen. No fire burns without a little maintenance. Amen. Amen.
Ashes out of there.
And keep feeding the fire. Yes.
Get some ashes out of there.
Don't give so much to the outside world that you neglect your mate and yourself. Be intentional about taking the time. Wow, those are some big things right there. Those are some big words. Even in your planned vacations, leave room for unplanned events. Things happen.
Yeah.
Mark your calendars and set your clocks for next week. The dog pound says edition. Amen. This is what we do, and this is what we like to do. I would tell everybody, if you got friends, relationships, oh Lord, we got the two of them, and Mz B, everybody bring juice.
Yeah.
This is something that next week's topic will be 25. Cliff said 25 years. There's a lot of people who don't know people that from 25 years ago, have not seen them.
We all went to school together. We all three, Tasha. We all went to school together.
Tasha wasn't that.
25 years ago. 25 years ago, we all went to school together. So, yeah.
So I think this is going to be a great time to just hear from a male perspective. Also have a little fun, but also kind of remember what things kind of turn you on and what things kind of are fun for you. Because sometimes we forget about that. We forget about having the fun in the relationship.
And that's the thing. A relationship is supposed to be fun. You can't be serious all the time. I know, right? You can't be serious all the time.
I robbed the cradle.
See, y'all brothers. That one. You can't be.
Oh, so you and Tasha immune to their shenanigans.
Yeah. We've known them for a long time. You can't be serious. Be fun. Enjoy. If you can't laugh and have a good time with your mate, then something is wrong with that. That's an issue in of itself. If you can't laugh and be silly and funny and just like I said, he always start right before we get ready to come on the show. Every single time.
He did.
He did too. If you can't be, just have a good time. Life as life. gives us enough stuff in moments that we have to be serious.
Mhm.
It gives us enough of that. So your mate is supposed to be somebody that you can be light with, that you can be funny and goofy and all of those things with. Have a good time, laugh, smile. It feels good and it does you good to have somebody that you can laugh with and just have a good time. But that's like in that there are things that you do to keep that going. And that is in the reset. You find somewhere new to go, or you go to a new restaurant, or you go to a new place, and you just enjoy each other's company. Each other's company. Have conversations with each other. Like I said, people watching is one of the funniest things you could ever do in your life is people watching.
Mhm.
It's super funny. Doesn't cost you anything, it's funny. But it's just being light, but definitely always be intentional about making sure that you're okay and making sure that your mate is okay. And that in return produces the two of you being okay. So it makes things easier. Like we said last week, I'll be away from the scene for a couple of weeks. I got an obligation that I must handle. I must take care of. So y'all will be in the dog pound for a couple of weeks. And for y'all that know the dog, you know, you know the dog.
I'll be plotting and planning all week. Cliff, check your messenger. But it's been real, guys. This is what we do. I always put a challenge out there again. We're going to enter the dog pound. First time that we've had dog pound sessions. Please invite people to the page, invite people to view, share it, like it, bring people to next week. This bring the quickie back session is something that I think young and old could hear and learn from. It is something that has been around for a while. It's been something that people have written songs about.
But now all they hear about is hours and hours. So, okay.
Yeah, with her line self. But anyway, we're going to talk about all that next week in the Dog Pound. Remember to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. And we'll see you back next Wednesday.
Minus cat.
Minus cat, but we will officially be in the Dog Pound. Might even have to change my music for next week, but we'll talk about that later. We'll enter the Dog Pound, and I promise when you come out of the pound, you will be better for it. It's been Real Talk with K and J. I am Jay, aka the dog.
And I am Kay, aka Cat.
And we'll see you next week. We love you. Peace.